We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
Yours, Reverend Gloria.
Good morning, beloveds. Good morning. Good morning. It is a wonderful blessing to be back with you all. It's certainly been a while since I've been here, but very, very grateful to be in your presence today and to welcome myself back into the sanctuary and to welcome you all into my little sanctuary. All right. So, as the order of service goes here, I'm going to ask that we play our first song. It's certainly a beautiful day here in Indianapolis, and I hope it's great where you guys are as well. So I'm going to ask that we greet each other on the board here, and I'll ask Marisol to play our opening song. Okay, thank you all for saying hello there in the sanctuary. It's certainly good to see all of you. As you're aware, it's been a while since I've spoken here in the sanctuary, so I'm still over here trying to make sure I have all my I's dotted and all of my T's crossed, and I think I do. Next, I'm going to read the Awakening Together purpose. Our purpose is Awakening Together is a universal assembly of peers dedicated to recognizing and embracing universal wisdom, regardless of the form in which it appears. We are also dedicated to recognizing the ways we deny universal wisdom by adopting personal beliefs and biases. I just realized I'm not reading from our purpose, so let me start that over and actually read our purposes. All right, we are an assembly of equals joined in common purpose, awakening to one true self within appearance of many faiths, many cultures, and many symbols. We seek to discern one truth and to rest in its embrace. What I was reading from initially was what we are here at Awakening Together. So I guess that wasn't too bad. So I'll continue on. The core value that I'm focusing in with today is core value number 5. We accept all forms, appearances permitted through enduring awareness of self. We live this value by honoring all appearances and all experiences while continually reflecting on changeless truth. All right, that's the core value that I'm going to be focusing in with this morning. Next up, we have our announcements for today. All right. So that concludes our announcements for today. I'm going to ask Marisol to please play that first song, and then I'm going to rejoin us for prayer invocation. All right. Thank you so much for that very first song. Excuse me. I'm going to ask you all to join me in prayer before we get into today's gathering. Beloved, I am present. That which is always here, as that song just talked about, the love being present, which is the one desire for this particular gathering. That love is absolutely present, flowing through every being, through every cell. I ask that this precious and perfect love would fill my mind, fill my heart, fill my energy with your presence as I open to receive that in order to give what I'm here to give today. I thank you. I have deep gratitude for the opportunity to be present here. I'm grateful for every soul, for every spark of light that's present in this space. This is indeed a sacred space, and I'm deeply grateful to be connected in this space at this time. And so it is. Amen. All right. Now, we're going to have a reading today by Reverend Rubye Nassar. She's going to be reading from the Sufi Book of Life. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's where I got that particular book from, was through the Minister Preparation Program. If I'm not mistaken, that is one of the courses. So I've selected a reading today from that Sufi Book of Life from chapter 68, which is Refuge in Every Need. We are going to be talking about non-doership today and how that leads us into this path of freedom. All right, so I'm going to turn this over to Rubye. And thank you again, Rubye, for agreeing to be my reader today.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you for asking me, Gloria. I was so delighted to read for you. I'm reading from, it keeps moving, 68, Refuge for Every Need. Asama. When you are guided to this pathway, take the opportunity to remember that the one being is a refuge for all circumstances in life. It has no boundary that limits the sphere of life unto which it can bring comfort. The Quran uses the word for this pathway and the previous one, ahad, only once in a mystical passage that attempts to explain that Allah speaks through it is not another idea, myth, or cult. It is the inexpressible source of a shared reality that ultimately has no fixed name or form. In poetic form, the expression Allah Samad from this passage could be translated as follows. Ultimate unity throughout the cosmos envelopes and surrounds all dimensions, measurements, laws, and tendencies. It fulfills and completes all potentials that unfold in joy throughout the universe. Two ideas combined here. One asks us to imagine a refuge uniquely suited to us from whatever trouble we're facing in life. The other depicts a source of whatever remedy we need for what ails us, or of whatever we need to complete any lack we feel within. Ultimately, the last three pathways ask us to live as though they are ultimately a wordless reality behind all our projections and ideals of the sacred. Even if we were to realize within us all of these pathways, as well as the other names of the sacred from all traditions through history, we would still be more. There would still be more to this reality. This represents a leap of faith for many of us who style ourselves postmodern and affirm that there is nothing beyond various points of view and cultural constructs of reality. The Sufis believe that the source of love is a reality that is as sure as the reality of the air we breathe. This pathway warns us not to trap the real within our own conceptions, no matter how broad or universal we think they may be. Again, in an absurd way, Nassar shows us how easy it is to do this. The story begins. Once Mullah Nassarandi's favorite clock stopped working, so he took it for repair. When the repair person took the back off the clock and turned it over, a dead fly flew out. A dead fly fell out. Didn't fly out, fell out. Oh, so that's the problem, said Nassaruddin. The little mechanic who operated it has died. Today, the little mechanic might be represented by genetics or some theory of everything that leads us to the false conclusion that we have everything figured out. This is the antithesis, the exact opposite of touching the place in us that can reflect and participate in the sacred source of remedy. Adding on, Shauna knows what that means. Perhaps life is challenging to you in a particular avenue of your life, one in which you feel no one and nothing can help. This pathway serves as a reminder that the possibilities of the Holy One are limitless. Its remedies endless. There is no one else to turn to, since the beloved's universe has no edge. In working with the inner self, this pathway can also help your highest guidance remind each inner voice of the divine sound and wave that brings relief from the pain we sometimes feel in the struggle of life. Thank you, Gloria. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you kindly for reading that so perfectly. So this conversation then is really about, tying it into that reading. If we unpacked that reading a bit, what Rubye just read, what jumps out for me is the endless, boundless, invisible supply that is available to each of us, right? The belief in lack, the fundamental belief in lack is an ego-driven belief. And in order for us to address the question of lack, we absolutely have to talk about relationships. Relationships permeate everything that we do. Everything that we are is dictated and regulated by relationships. If we stop to think for a moment what our relationship is like with everything and anything that we interact with. Most importantly, what is our relationship like with ourselves? How are we communing with, aligning to, and allowing the part of us that knows, the part of us that is, as that Sufi reading pointed out, is boundless, right? That knows every need before it is even a need and is more than capable of meeting every single need that presents in life. So when we look at our relationships, what is our relationship to money? What is our relationship to our friends, our family, our workmates? And I already talked about the most important relationship there is. So when we ponder the truth that there is no lack, that there's nothing lacking in all that is, there can never be nothing lacking in all there is. What could be lacking or in need of adjustment is our relationship to that thing, right? What comes to mind is the essence of a thing. When we're talking essence, so if love, right, if what we're looking for is love, then we have to take a look at our relationship with the essence of love. What does love mean? So we're talking essence here, internal versus what we hope to manifest outside of us, which is external, right? So the essence of a thing, the essence of love is what? Joy, pure joy. That's the essence of love. Connectedness, togetherness, light, peace. all of these things represent the essence of what love is. So when we're, again, talking about relationships, we have to look at our relationship to that essence, that internal part of what is. As that reading pointed out, there are no boundaries, right? It all boils down to what our relationship to that thing. All right. So as I'm coming into this particular gathering today, I'm in a very much of a liminal space, right? I've recently accepted a promotion. I'm going into my last week at my old job, and I'm preparing to go into my new job as an account manager. So this whole space that I'm in right now very much reminds me of the path that we're all on, right? We have one foot over here in the world, and then we're here in the present moment, but we're constantly seeking to either get somewhere, do something, and accomplish, whatever our goals are in life. For me, this was certainly a goal that I had set for myself many years ago. But, the path that it took for me to get here is also what I know, I'm here to talk about today. And I liken that path to like a spiritual boot camp, right? There were things in me, there were beliefs, ideas, limitations in me that had to be brought to the light, dealt with, and allowed to heal before I could, and I can see that clearly now, although it wasn't that clear. I mean, it was somewhat clear, but it was a little murky for me as I dealt with some of the requirements for my growth, without getting into a lot of, because to me, it's water under the bridge. I don't really want to go into like a lot of detail about that process. I want to relay the gift of that process instead. So, through that, as I mentioned, there were things in me that had to be recognized and brought to the light. Now, that process was nothing nice. There were a lot of friction, a lot of problems, a lot of, just a lot of things going on. And throughout that process, I would continuously go inside and ask the very simple question: what is my role in this? What am I here to do? What am I supposed to get? Right? It wasn't that way initially. Initially, I went into fight or flight, as we often do. When you feel like you're under duress, you go into this fight or flight type of mentality. But as time went on, I began to come out of that and go internal to that essence, right? So throughout the process, I began to see where in me this problem was, right? You can apply this anywhere, in any situation. The bottom line is I had to come back to me. I had to go to the essence where this boundless, limitless possibility exists. I knew that, it was just really, really, really strenuous throughout that process And it requires a great deal of trust and courage to walk the path that our soul has laid out for us. That was one thing that came to me, or that I understood as I began to use that to awaken, right? Awakening is constantly occurring. We're constantly being moved and guided and directed towards our highest awakening. And to recognize that Christ consciousness in me was part of the path, like the other layers had to come out and be seen and healed. The journey that we take to get to a point where we're walking in the knowledge of our awakened state. He has already come. Christ is already present in each of us. I do this little exercise often where it's that 0 point, right? There's a spark of light in every cell in our body, and that spark is the divine. And so traveling to the center point of that light and resting in that infinite light and operating from that place of knowing is what carried me through that whole process that led to this liminal space that I now find myself within. A key part of allowing, because that's what this refuge for every need is really talking about, our capacity to allow that light that's always present to really lead us where we need to go and where we're destined actually to go. So this level of allowing requires one key ingredient, and that is trust. This is also another reason why the relationship that I have, most important relationship that I have, is my relationship with myself, with this Christ consciousness that dwells in me. My ability to scoot over and allow that Christ consciousness to guide me forward, to direct my path, and doesn't mean that I'm always going to be, walking on cotton balls or anything, right? Because what I just came out of was indeed a requirement for my growth. In fact, I would really not hesitate to say that the growth that came from that experience is more joyous to me than the role I just got, It's the thing, it's the essence of that thing. It's not the thing that we're after. It's always the essence of the thing. And see, I'm in relationship with the essence of things, of all things, not just, career, money, health, family, all of it. I'm in an active relationship with the essence of all things. And of course, words always fail us here. There's no I to be in relationship with anything. the awareness that I am, the connection to the awareness that I am is, what I'm really speaking of there. Another part that had to really come to manifestation through that process is letting go of the outcome, the ability to know that you want to do something or be something or have something, and then to release that entire outcome to all that is. That was really, that's control, and that's definitely ego at play there. So that was also a critical point for me, is realizing that all that is, the Christ consciousness that is alive and well, activated, manifested in the flesh, is always leading, moving, arranging, allowing, stopping, closing doors, opening hearts, opening minds. Of myself, I do nothing. That's what Jesus said. There is, in truth, an invisible, perfect awareness that is moving, shining, allowing everything that you need to let go of what you're not and accept what you are, which is already here, right? I've definitely grown beyond the point of seeking anything really. I was going to try to narrow that down to the one thing I'm not seeking, but I'm not seeking anything. Especially this Christ consciousness. Love is present. Light is present and activated right here, right now. And it's always that way, no matter what the external world looks like, no matter how much pain you're being dealt to work through, or grief or heartache that you're being dealt to work through. Know that you're never alone at any point throughout that process, because this awakened, aware Christ consciousness light dwells in every cell of your being. It's in the air, it's in the water, it's in the ground, That's another thing that comes to mind is, looking out at the external world or circumstances that we really now all, see in reality, right? We have, border issues, college protesting, food prices are, I don't know, from another planet at this point, right? Everything's up, 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 up. And we're down here just swimming, just swimming through the void. And in all of that, this Christ consciousness that I'm speaking of and that I'm speaking through is here. There is nothing that we would hold outside of the divine, outside of all that is. Everything exists as it exists because of everything else. So as we're swimming through this void of external manifestations, like I said, heartache and grief included, we continuously look to this changeless reality. As the Course in Miracles says in lesson 120, I rest in God, right? In quiet certainty, perfect quiet certainty. The more we are aligned with that perfect quiet certainty, the more we cultivate that, the more we create that in the world that we see and in ourselves, especially in ourselves, right? What I understood through this process is that the ability to rest in God, I could not do that until there were certain beliefs, limitations, ideas that I had about myself, about others, that I had to come to terms with. There's no resting when the house is burning. Nobody's resting when there's a fire. Everyone is activated, moving, running, trying to effect some sort of positive change. But when you get to the point that I'm speaking of now, you know that you need do nothing. You need do nothing. Whatever effortless action that you're required to take in whatever situation you find yourself in, that action will reveal itself. You will know. You will know what to do and when to do and how to do it. But you need do nothing, because this boundless, limitless, precious love that is always being poured out is here, doing what it needs to do. But again, to get to that space where you can rest in God, you may have to, walk a little maze the way I did to get, to this liminal space that I'm in. At times, very uncomfortable. And that's okay. We don't beat ourselves up for being uncomfortable. We allow that too. We accept that too. But you need do nothing. You need do nothing. So it is truly from an awakened place that I speak, and that I align to. And I continuously have to align to that. That's not a one and done. Awakening isn't a one and done. It's a continuous process of unfolding in this allowing space, in this liminal space where all possibility exists. With God, all things are indeed possible, right? And he has, repeatedly shown me that, but especially with this latest breakthrough, the spiritual boot camp that I was talking about is oftentimes required for us to relax into wholeness. Many of us have to go that path of suffering or, struggling to balance out and be where we know we're supposed to be. Many of us go that route. There's no judgment there. The point is that during that process, you awaken to what's occurring, that you might be in a spiritual boot camp session 2. You might be running a maze course trying to figure out which door. Is it behind door number 1? Is it door number 2? Where is it? Where are my answers? And again, the alignment to truth consistently through all of that as we swim through this void. We continuously seek out the truth. We continuously return to the essence of who we are. And we rest in God. I feel complete with what I wanted to share today. I hope that my words, the energy, because so much of what happens at an energetic level. The vibrations in my voice or anyone's voice who comes forward to speak in this way, it's often the vibration that they're emitting that you're aligning to or listening to or receiving. So I had only one intention for today. That was to be aware of love's presence. That's it. Love did the rest. Love said the rest. My only job now, today, tomorrow, next week, when I jump into this new thing, is to consistently be aware of love's presence. Freely I give, and freely I receive. I'm going to ask Shauna to put the link in the chat room if you're interested in donating to Awakening Together. You're certainly welcome. Those donations are most welcome. I'm also going to ask Marisol to play a song for you to just marinate, feel into what I just shared. All right? Great love. Marisol, please play a song. All right. Thank you so much for that song. And I guess where are we at on time? We have a few minutes. If anybody wants to share anything, now would be the time to do so. If not, we have fellowship after this. Let me see. I don't see any hands up. Marisol, do you see anyone with their hand up?
Nope, not yet.
You said put the electronic hand up, huh? Okay, well, as I was saying, I was trying to see. Yeah, I don't see any hands up either. It's always a pleasure to be back. I do want to say to Marisol, a big thank you for getting the songs together. I'm just not that great with picking those things, so I appreciate the extra effort on your part there as well. I don't have anything else that I need to share, so I'll turn it back over to, I think, Shauna or Marisol, one of you.
Thank you, Reverend Gloria. We have one more song we could play, but I'd love to invite anyone who has the urge to please raise their hand and share about whatever insights you had, any revelations. There we go. John, Dan, or
Well, I'll try to factor you get down. Yeah, I just wanted to thank Reverend Gloria for the reminder of the process that this is, because when you're in the middle of it, it is so easy to forget that nothing has gone wrong, or to think that something has gone wrong, excuse me. And the reminder that nothing has gone wrong is that's a blessing. And that became apparent through the homily today, and speaking of her experiences, and I very much appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you, John. Anyone else feel like answering the call to? There we go. Rubye, thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to ditto John. And Gloria, I mean, you had so many good points in there, but it's like the expanding and the contraction of the process. And I just really liked how you explained that. And then that song at the end was great, you're in a hurricane, but I can look at the eye now. I can look at the eye. And you said something very profound, I thought. Like, some people have the path of suffering. Suffering's just a word, but it's a word. It's just a word. But the path of suffering and discomfort. And that's, some of us are expanding and contracting, which I am. And the boot camp thing was, yeah, I'm going through that now and then. So I just really loved your message. And the one thing you also said, you're in the boot camp, you're in the path of discomfort, suffering, whatever. But love is here now. Light is here now, right now. So you can look at it. So thank you very, very much. I loved it.
You've been watching our online gathering. It happens weekly on Sundays at 10:15 a.m. Eastern Time. To join us live in the sanctuary, visit our website, awakening-together.org. You'll want to click on Online Sanctuary in the main menu, and then in the drop-down menu, look for How to Enter the Sanctuary. Right there at the top of the page is a clickable link. We'd love to see you in the sanctuary and join with you in fellowship. Thank you again for watching. Also, please know that if you'd like to stay connected via the Awakening Together channel here on YouTube, you can subscribe and hit the bell for more notifications. We hope to see you in the sanctuary.